Josh McDaniels came into a situation of a team that had went to the playoffs. This was not a team that was considered broken or trying to get over the hump. This was a team that had a coach in Rich Bisaccia who was the interim coach. We all know what happened with John Gruden last season. That was a difficult situation for any coach. We know about what happened with Henry Ruggs on that team. Rich Bisaccia came in and basically not only did he right the ship, but he also got guys to play for each other. Yeah. He got guys to listen, got guys to do where everybody was saying what's going on with the team, pulling you different directions. He got everybody on the same page. They go to the playoffs, and maybe they're a couple plays away from beating the Cincinnati Bengals on the road, and who knows what would go from there. So when Josh McDaniels takes over the job, you're not getting immediate results. When you've also invested in Chandler Jones, you've invested in bringing over Davante Adams, you've already got outstanding players in Max Crosby. I thought Derek Carr had shown that he is the quarterback that this franchise has been, wanting. He's playing at a high level. But what I'm seeing is a disconnect. But I think it's also now, it's a belief in themselves. There's no confidence. This is not a confident football team. You can watch and just say this. They're not confident in themselves. Now you can work hard and you can play hard, do all those things. I've done that before. I've first person in, last person out. You can do all that. That's great. That's outstanding. You're doing your job. But there is a point when you go into a game and all of a sudden you've built that dam. That dam is built. And all of a sudden there's a little crack and you start to see a little water come out. And instead of everybody saying, hey, let's go patch it up together, you start to see it break a little more. And it's like, uh-oh, here we go again. The dam's about to break. And next thing you know, that's what's happened. The dam just continues to keep opening and opening, and boom, it's gone. And I'm seeing that from this football team. And that's the difficult part, is that obviously you don't have some players who are available to you, but you would expect more from a team that played in the playoffs a year ago, that you don't lose. They're 0-6 this year in these one-score games. Last year, I think they were 7-2 in one-score games. That shows you how close it is to win games in the NFL. Because you look at the Minnesota Vikings, they find a way to win those games this year. They very well easily could be in the Raiders situation, but they've won those games. So that's the hardest part for me, is where Josh McDaniels has to look his guys in the eye. And I know they are. I know they're working. But right now, there doesn't seem to be that juice, that energy. And I talked about a win-win for the trade when it came for Miami and Kansas City. It's almost been a lose-lose trade when it comes to Green Bay and the Raiders, right? The Packers and the Raiders trade. Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked the same since they let go of they traded away Davante Adams. And the investment in Davante Adams from the Raiders, he's gotten good yards and playing well, got cup touchdowns, but it hasn't resulted in the wins. So there's one trade that's a win-win. This one has been a lose-lose. Now, it's just for this season, because Aaron Rodgers, obviously, he's got receivers now that he's working with, and Christian Watson did have a big game. The rookie had 3 catches, who was supposed to be the guy to replace Davante Adams. So there's a work in progress, but right now both teams are hurting off of this in terms of that trade. And so you see Jeff Saturday and the Colts doing this. Seems like they're taking off. Mm-hmm. He goes back to Matt Ryan, who he believes in.
That surprised you after he had committed to Sam Ehlinger, on Wednesday or whatever that was?
I think there's one guy who you can't fool. You can't fool the guys on the team, or I say group. There's one group you can't fool. Like, there's situations, and I'll go back to my career. Guys know who should be playing and who's not. I mean, there are situations, I know there are certain guys who played, and I'm like, but why are we playing this guy? He's better. Well, Kurt, we've guaranteed $8 million to this guy. He's going to play. But I'm like, to a point where I don't care how much money that we are guaranteeing him. This guy needs to be playing, because this guy is hurting us on defense, or he's hurting us on offense. And same thing, like, you cannot fool the players. And once I see you do that, you've lost all credibility with me. And so I don't know. I don't know what that situation was in Indianapolis, but I think when you start Sam Ehlinger, as a player, and I don't know if this to be true, but think about guys like Stephon Gilmore, right? DeForest Buckner. They know what it looks like. They've been to Super Bowls. They've played in Super Bowls. And they know if a decision is being made truly by the head coach or by management, general manager, they know. That's one person there's those people you cannot fool players. You can fool the media, you can fool other folks, but you're not going to fool players because we are the ones at practice and we see it every day. And when it came down to who do you believe in the most, Jeff Saturday wasn't there 10 minutes and he was like, put Matt Ryan in. I'm just saying, he wasn't there 10 minutes and was like, put Matt Ryan in.
And they won.
And they won, and the results are in. And so now for all the people, I'm still waiting on that apology from Bill Cowher, right? Has he made it yet?
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.